Brahmanandam Paramasugadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gaganasudarsham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. While I am here on this Padayatra, morning function was Padayatra. Throughout for the last 2 months, today we are completing 2 months. Started on January the 12th. So exactly 2 months we are in Kodagu. And most of the days I have been talking about the Padayatra and so on. So by now I think it's familiar to you all. And in between, when I see a small group of people sitting, this has become a big group. I usually have what I really love to talk, which is a spiritual satsang. Rest of the time it is Manav Ekta and so on, which of course springs from my inner experience. But today, when I am sitting in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, where for the last, I think, 12 years, I have been coming almost every year. Not almost, I think every year. And talking on spiritual matters, spiritual satsang. So, today, day before yesterday, we stopped somewhere before coming into Madikeri. I forget the name of the place. There we had a beautiful little Gopala Krishna temple, from where you can see the paddy fields outside, and it was so beautiful. And the satsang was inside the temple premises. So I had a satsang instead of a social talk. So today also, Omkareshwar is on the right side, back to the podium in Bharati Vidya Bhavan. So I am today also going to have not anything to do with the walk as such, but a spiritual satsang. I also want to do it because many people who are walking with me can understand when I speak in English. And most of the days we had a satsang, because we just entered from Kerala. I was talking in Malayalam. And these poor people were just sitting, trying to figure out what is going on. Not that my Malayalam is so great, but I was managing somehow. Because there if you say, what language shall you speak? Malayalam. So today I hope you will enjoy and understand this. As far as Kodagu is concerned, there is no problem at all. English is the best language to speak in. If you don't know Kannada, of course. So today, we will talk about, I don't want to talk too much because, this walking takes a lot of energy. And talking also takes a lot of energy. If you are serious about what you are saying. Not simply blabber something, it doesn't mean anything. So I will not make it very long. I keep it as short as possible. But short and with some essence in it. That's most important. So, Omkareshwar on the right, big Om at the back. So we will talk about Om today. I'm talking about the philosophical interpretations and some way connecting them with the psychological and the practical. We're trying to link it together. Now, today, I'm going to talk to you about Om as interpreted in the smallest Upanishad that's available to us at present, which is the Mandukya Upanishad. The Upanishads are the essence of the Vedas, where the Vedic Samhitas end, where the hymns end, where the ceremonials, which are called the Brahmanas, end. There's a place here where the ceremonials called the Brahmanas end. There is the last part after the Aranyakas, which is called the Upanishad. So that is the last part of the Vedas. Since it is the last part of the Vedas, it's called Vedanta, which means end of the Vedas. It's not the end of the Vedas. It means it is that which is attached to the last part of the Vedas, and therefore Vedanta. And these are the Upanishads. And they scale the dizzy heights of speculation and thought, which probably even today or 100 years later, we may find it difficult to imagine how they went to such dizzy heights of thought. There were no computers, there were nothing there. It's just the pure mind and the clear intellect with the spiritual understanding that has touched that which is the essence of all creation. And among these Upanishads, among the major Upanishads, one is the Mandukya, which has only 12 verses. There is no Upanishad smaller than that. So concise, it has only 12 verses. And it's so much commented upon that there are thousands of pages running which are commentaries on the Mandukya. First, Gaudapada wrote a commentary on the Mandukya Upanishad. Gaudapada was the grand guru of Adi Shankara. Badrinath, there is still a place where Gaudapada is supposed to have sat and written the commentaries, the Karika on the Mandukya Upanishad. And it is so abstruse that some people even suspected that Gaudapada was a Buddhist. Then Shankara himself has commented on the Karika of Gaudapada, which runs into several pages, and on the Mandukya, which again runs into several pages. So you can imagine the importance of this small little Upanishad from the Yajurveda, which has only 12 verses. And the 12 verses basically deal with Om. Here, Om is given a different interpretation. A, U and Ma are the letters used to split the word. But here, A, the first sound, there it said creation. Here, A represents the waking state of consciousness. The Mandukya Upanishad merely deals with the states of consciousness which we all experience, and one which we probably don't. Maybe, I don't know, if there are great rishis, we can't make out. You can't make out by their dress. There may be a great rishi with bobbed hair. I personally don't. So, this sound is a symbol of what is called Jagrita Avastha, which means the waking state of consciousness. Here you see, there is no religion, there is no creed. Waking state of consciousness is common to all human beings. You may say, I am this and that, but we are awake. I hope we are awake. I am not so boring that you fell asleep. So this Jagrita, or the waking state of consciousness, when we experience this outside world using our 5 senses, which are the Indriyas, this waking state where we experiencing the outside world with the 5 senses, also rationalize and build up our own rational ideas based on the data gathered, however imperfect it may be. This is the Jagrita Avastha, when we are awake. Now you realize it's common to all. Then U, A and U. U represents what the Upanishads called Tejasa or Swapna Avastha, dream state. Now the dream state is also common to all of us. I'm sure everybody dreams, good or bad dreams. Sometimes lovely dreams, sometimes nightmares. So dreams are so common to us. And in fact, if we didn't have dreams, probably the world would have been a very boring place. Because very often what we can't achieve in the waking state, we dream up. That is the dream you have when you sleep. Then there is daydreaming, which is also linked to it in some way. You may be sitting here and actually daydreaming about something else. The mind has the capacity to keep your eyes open and think of something else. So this dream state is called Tejasa because you dream with your eyes closed. So there is darkness. But inside you see everything as if it is illumined, as if there is a light there. So therefore it is called that which is lit, Tejasa. This is the dream state. And it is such an important part of our lives. If you think about it carefully, you get the essence of Vedanta or the Upanishad. Simple example. I dream that I have been driven by, I've been chased by a tiger. I'm dreaming. When I am in the dream, while I am dreaming, the tiger is very real. While I am dreaming, I'm actually running for my life. The tiger is almost at my back. What do I experience during that time? The actual emotions and reactions that one would expect if there is a tiger actually in front of us or is driving us. But then, before the tiger bites, we have to always make time and place for the photographer. He comes in between the gaps of time. So, see, this photography is a strange affair, you know. Actually, life never stops. One thought now, and then next second there's another thought linked to it. It doesn't stop. And life never stops. It keeps moving. But the human being has a tendency to freeze action. Photography is a manifestation of that freezing. And therefore, since it is freezing, it is really quite illusionary because it's not a fact. Fact is that it is moving. Today, my beard is this much, and tomorrow, it would have at least grown a little bit. But in the photograph, you would think only of the beard because it's freezing a movement. And we love to freeze it because very rarely do we get good movements. So when there are good moments, we want to freeze it. And photography is a manifestation of that. Before photography came, artists were there, painting. So it's not photography's defect, I'm just saying. Anyway, why are we moving away from the subject? I have this attention deficiency syndrome. So nowadays, any child who doesn't study in the school, immediately there's a report, attention deficiency syndrome. So they come to me, I said, I also have it, don't worry. So the tiger is chasing you, then you wake up. When you wake up, what happens? There is no tiger. But it was so real that you're still sweating and your heart is going thump-thump. That means it must have been so real at that time. But when you look, there is no tiger. Some rishi said, perhaps one day, this is so real. Perhaps one day we'll rub our eyes and wake up and say, oh, what a long dream. If you say now it's a dream, nobody will believe it. When you are dreaming, will you believe that it's a dream? No. It's very real. It's only when you wake up. So this dream is so significant, it shows you many things. Like, for instance, I want to tell you a story. There was this great Raja Rishi, Janaka, whom you all know, because Janaki is Sita. Now, Janaka one day dreamed that he was a beggar, not knowing where the next meal was coming from, starving, having a begging bowl in his hand, walking around with tattered clothes. And it was so real when he suddenly woke up. When he woke up, he found that he was lying on a beautiful bed in the palace. It occurred to him, what would have happened if this dream had continued? Would I have continued to be a beggar? Now, of course, I know I am the king. So when his great guru, Rishi Yajnavalkya, came, He asked him this question, please tell me, am I a beggar or am I a king? Please explain this to me. And this particular Upanishad, which is a discussion on this subject, on how all states are real when they are there. When they go, they are not real. And therefore, ultimately, they are not real. Something that is ultimately real must be real at all times and all conditions. But here are states which come and go. One state is real when you are in it, and when you are out, it is gone. And Yajnavalkya says, probably this state which you are in, which you consider to be so real, maybe there is a state from where you will consider this also as a dream. Maybe. Think about it. Okay, so that is the dream state. This is also common to all of us, and that is the sound of U that comes after A. Then Om, Ma. Once you have said Om, if you need to say anything else, you'll have to open your mouth again. It's end, temporary end. Just as thought ends and a new thought comes, the sound of Om is the end of everything, because then the next new thing comes up. Now that Ma, represents a complete close down, shut down, which is called Shushupti. Shushupti means deep sleep, where there is not even a dream. And in Shushupti, there is no cognition in the outside world. There is no cognition in the dream state, inside world. There is no inner or outer cognition. There is just consciousness which you are not even aware of. And it's a complete rest, because in deep sleep, you don't even know who you are or where you are. See, all our problems are because we know who we are, or we think we know who we are. I am so and so, so when I went to the marriage, nobody looked at me. Problem starts. I am so and so, that fellow didn't salute me. You see how it is? I am an auto rickshaw driver, so it's okay. They won't allow me into my house. The problem start. So, problems start because I know that I am so and so. In the dream state, in the deep sleep state, you don't even know that you exist. Therefore, you have no problems. Which is why we all require deep sleep. And if we don't have sleep, we go and buy a tablet to sleep. Or we take to the spirit that is sold in bottles. That's also spirit. This is spirit, that is spirit. Purnamada Purnamidam. Because at some point we really want to forget ourselves. Except that that chemical forgetting is impermanent, temporary, and causes liver disorders. Somebody said, is life worth living? And somebody answered, it depends on the liver. So, this state of deep sleep, Shushupti, is also called Swarga, because there is ecstasy, because you don't even know that you exist. And everybody has deep sleep. It is common to all. The laborer who carries sacks and the person who drives a Mercedes, everybody sleeps. And in sleep, everybody is one, because nobody knows who you are. You may be sleeping, and if somebody comes and looks at you, he knows who, you don't know who you are. Which is why it gives complete rest. And in the Gayatri Mantra, when you say Bhur Bhuvaswa, please remember, the last syllable is not Swaha. Swaha means so be it. It's Swa. So it is Bhur Bhuvaswa means Bhuloka. Bhuloka means Jagrita Avastha, waking state, where we see the world. Bhuarloka is the dream state, the Swapna Avastha, where we dream. And Swa is Swarga, where everything is in bliss and ecstasy. Why? Because we don't know if anything exists at all. But apparently there is something which is there, Because when we wake up after deep sleep, we say, that was so nice. So there is a memory of something that was beautiful. But at that point, you don't remember. It's only when you wake up. Also, there is one point between sleep and waking when it is so ecstatic that you don't want to wake up. You want to turn around and go to sleep. So, in that state, there is ecstasy, but you don't realize it. Now, consider a situation where you, in deep sleep, suddenly are aware of what is happening. That is called Turiya. Now, Turiya is outside Om. It's not exactly outside. When you say Om, the last part, which is represented as the Ardhamatra, the vibration that comes after the bell is rung, that is Turiya. It is that where one is aware, as if one is aware in deep sleep, which is impossible to get into through deep sleep. So don't think that one can achieve Turiya through sleeping constantly. This is not possible, unfortunately. I have a good friend who after lunch every day says, now I'm going to meditate. So go near the door, you can hear the sound of Om. Only thing is it is in a different form. So unfortunately you cannot enter Turiya through Shushupti. But Turiya is very close to Shushupti, because there the bliss that one has in Shushupti is experienced as awareness, pure awareness. And it is that which remains in all other states. It is there when you are awake, it is there when you are dreaming, it's there when you are in deep sleep, and it is also there when none of these exist. Why? Because it is the witness. It's not involved, it is the witness. It's bare, pure Sakshi, which is watching everything but not getting affected by anything. Now this says the Upanishad is your essence, is your true essence. In true essence, you are that which is beyond deep sleep, dream and wakeful state, but which is the witness of all that is happening in all the three states, but not affected by it. When one realizes that, actually understands that, then life is completely different. Why? Because it is that essence which is the Supreme Being. It is also that essence which is in every living being. As the Gita says, the body is the temple, Kshetra. And that spark of the divine which is in us, which is the witness of everything that is happening, and which after the death of the body is still a witness, surviving. That is the Kshetrajna, that which sits inside the Kshetra. So just as you have a temple inside which the Garbhagriha, there is the deity, in the same way in the human form, in the heart center, as the Antaryami, as the witness of all that is happening, sits the Lord. We can call it sits the Lord or sits the Devi, whatever way you want to look at it, or just abstract Brahman. This is what is to be found. When this is found, then all are equal in those terms. Not economically equal or socially equal. You understand, in essence, everything springs from that same reality, which is the essence, which is the witness of all that is happening, but not affected by any of the happenings, which is that which is there in the waking, dream and deep sleep. Now for that, we need to understand that deep down, this essence which is divine, which is called Tat Tvamasi, you are that, is the individual behind the personality. Different personalities are there, like we have different forms. In fact, the word in Greek, the word mask, M-A-S-K, mask, in Greek it's called persona. And the word personality comes from persona, which means we all wear distinct masks. We all play our roles, different roles. Son, father, mother, wife. We play our own personas. So we have different personalities. But the person who plays the roles is the self, the true self. Some point one should distinguish between the two. Suppose Amitabh Bachchan is a good actor. Fine, he can play any role. But when he goes home, if he continues to play the role and thinks that he is what he is before the camera, within a few days he will be taken to the asylum or to the hospital to be checked. Because he has suddenly decided that the role he is playing is the reality, while the role is not the reality. So, while we should play our roles to the best extent possible, we should remember that when we go home, which means I'm not talking about going home, when we go into what is called turiya, or even when we go into deep sleep, we have gone home, then you should remember that you are not the roles that you are playing, but the witness, the individual who plays these roles, which is a spark of the divine, whose quality itself is Satchidananda. Satchidananda means it is the truth, reality, as opposed to, when I say reality, it means that which is always there, as opposed to things which are here today and gone tomorrow. Even I am here today and gone tomorrow. But there is something in me, an element which remains forever, which is also in all of you. To understand this is the aim of the study of the Upanishad and the study of Vedanta. Okay. Now you would say that all this theory is fine, but is there any practical use for Om? We will say Shushupti, Turiya. We'll do that after retiring. But what about now? Actual fact is that it is not something for the retired. It's for the young and the energetic. Well, there is still fuel left. When you see a student going to a teacher in the Upanishads and in the Vedas, they say he goes with fuel in hand. Fuel in hand doesn't mean to light a fire and go. That means he's young and he still possesses enough fuel in him or her. So it should be found when there is still enough energy, not when everything is finished. If you start now, then when you have finished your jobs, you get more time to look into it. That's right, I understand. Vanaprastha, then sannyasa. So why did I? Oh yes. So now let me speak about the practical aspects of Om. Now the chanting in the Mundaka Upanishad, not Mandukya, in the Mundaka Upanishad, after describing the Supreme Being, Yama tells Nachiketa, there is one way to find this. Even the Mandukya Upanishad says, use the Om as the target, use your mind as the arrow and shoot into the reality. Use the Brahman, the Supreme Being as the target, use Om as your arrow and fly straight into the Supreme Being. In the Mundaka Upanishad, Yama tells Nachiketa, after explaining various things, that this Om is the Pranava and it can take you to the Supreme Being. Philosophically, you have to understand it, but practically you can use it. How do you use it? The chanting of Om, Pranava Sadhana, is the simplest and the easiest, and I think one of the most important parts of your spiritual practice. So in your spiritual practice, if you are not doing it, if it is not there, I think you should adopt it. For us, in our parampara, when we do Kriya Yoga, we have something called the chanting of Om. It's called Om technique. Now, I'm not going to keep it hidden and a mystery and so on. I hate mysteries. It's very simple. You don't have to sign a check to learn this, please. It's very simple. What you do is chant Om and hear the vibrations internally. It's in Yoga Shastra, it's called Brahmari. Brahmari is the bumblebee that comes near your window and makes So, to chant the Om with your eyes closed, allowing it to vibrate inside, is called Brahmari. And it's one of the most important sadhanas, which even the Dashanami Sampradaya sannyasins who don't practice anything else use the Om chanting, the Pranava. It's called the Pranava Dhyana. What we do normally is to close our ears with our thumbs and chant Om with more stress on the last part, which is Ma. Normally we chant with long stretched here, Om. Why this Ma? Because the last part of Om has even a therapeutic effect on the whole system, body and mind. If you go into a hospital where people are convalescing from a disease, who have pain, the most common sound you hear is because it's an inbuilt understanding of the brain, of the mind, that sound has a great soothing effect on the whole system. It calms you down, brings you to that point from where you destroy the old and the new arises, as we discussed before. So, you don't have to close your ears. You can also chant Om by simply closing your eyes and allowing the last part of Om to vibrate inside your system. When you do that, the proof of the pudding is in the eating it. So you do have to practice it to find out how it works. You do it every day if you don't do anything else. For 5 minutes every day, morning and evening. And I bet that you will probably lessen your visits to the doctor also, physically. Apart from deepening your meditation and letting you go deep within, where you touch the Sakshi, the witness, which unaffected watches everything and enjoys, which is a spark of the divine in every human being. So, I am not going to go on. Like St. Francis said, my walk is my talk. So, I am going to sit with you. Let us, before leaving here, chant Om 3 times and meditate quietly for a while, so that we take something from here when we go. We don't go empty-handed. So, along with me, please chant when I start 3 pranavas, which is Om, and then just shut your eyes and sit quietly. Witness all that is happening in your mind without changing anything. And just see how when the mind settles down, there is a joy which doesn't have any reason. You don't need any reason for it, it is there. Try to go into it, tune into it and sit for a while. Then when I say Om Shanti, we can stop. Shall we start?